Right. Sorry about that, guys. Little technical difficulties. Alrighty. Let me make sure we are shared. You guys like my hat? So y'all know we've had this Back to the Future theme, right? And the third Back to the Future is a Western. And I had all these plans to like put on my pearl snaps and like an actual cowboy hat and like be all Western themed, right? And I just decided this was better. Like rhinestones and flashy lights, why the heck not, right? So I thought this was better, but I'm not going to leave it on the whole time because it's very distracting. But that being said, while you guys are jumping in, when you get in, say hello and say that you are here. I also want to know, so this is good for those watching the replay too, which Back to the Future is your favorite? Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3? Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3? Which Back to the Future do you prefer? I have my opinions. I will tell you shortly which one I prefer. I am just going to share this over into the event. And then we will get going for day 3. I'm so excited. If you're here, say hi so I know you're here. I see little numbers and little eyes. There are people here. Who's here? Aisha's here. Part 1. I agree. I agree. It just kind of went downhill, didn't it? I honestly, oh my gosh, I have stuff in my teeth. There you go. Part 3 is your second favorite. Really? Why is part 3 your second favorite? I don't know if I would put it second. I feel like part 2 and part 3 were like equal for me because they both had their things that were like really funny that kind of made it enjoyable. So yeah, I would kind of go back and forth, I think. Hi, Ashley. Welcome. All right, I'm going to take the flashy hat off. Literally flashy. Get it? Literally. Okay. All right, there's that. Here, I'll leave it here for like inspiration. So yeah, it totally had a different vibe. So part 1 is the original. It's, you know, he ends up in the past and then jacks up the future, right? And then part 2 is it turns out his future is all jacked up, so he needs to fix it, right? And figure out why it got so jacked up. That's the one with the sports almanac in it, which was my favorite part. Because like really, what would you do like if you had those answers, right? It's pretty cool. And part 3 is the Western, where they actually go into the past, like way into the past. I think they go what to like 1855, right? And or 1885. And I like it because I like seeing Doc fall in love and then he like chooses to stay in the past, and like the Western Union thing is hilarious. So if you are just jumping on, tell us which Back to the Future is your favorite, because everyone has a favorite. Everyone has a favorite. I actually, doing this, had people tell me that they had never seen any of them. And I was like, what? What do you mean you've never seen any of them? It was absolutely shocking to me that anybody had not seen Back to the Future. That was just crazy. So, so excited. Hey, Caitlin. Excited for day 3. You guys, I am super hyped up today. I'm super stoked about serving you guys and bringing you guys some really, really amazing value when it comes to your money, because gosh, money's just so like emotional. I talked about this morning, but if you didn't catch my quick live this morning, you know, I think when people start thinking about how they're going to fix their money situation, they're thinking about numbers and spreadsheets and budgets, and they're thinking about, you know, just dollars and cents, right? They're thinking about how do I move money around? And sometimes what we don't acknowledge is how emotionally charged money really is. The reality is money is just energy, right? Think about when you buy something, you're giving them money and they're giving you something in return for it, right? It's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange tool, right? And so when you think about money as energy, you have to remember that energy not only impacts everything that you do, it impacts how you feel. Think about my energy yesterday was kind of crap, right? My energy today is like, woo, I feel so much better. Like I feel so good and I'm super excited and I'm a super high vibe. It changes everything, right? With energy, you also will think about, how do I conserve my energy? How do I spend my energy the best way, right? How do I take advantage of the energy that I have? How do I honor the energy level that I'm at, right? And so all of those things is the same when it comes to money. And so it becomes more of like an emotional and psychological thing than people really realize. So the first 2 days of this workshop has been very heavy emotionally. It's been like thinking about what kept you stuck and then thinking about what kind of momentum you weren't getting, right? Today is about getting you guys a solution and a win. And I'm super, super excited about it. So if you're excited for a win, I want you to pop win in the chat. You can also use like any emoji you want. There's like the woo, or there's like gold medals, or I like the chick lifting weights. Like that one makes me feel like I'm winning, right? Drop win or winning, or if you want to go like super tiger blood, you can go tiger blood for winning, right? Charlie Sheen. But today is about getting you guys a win, making you feel like you actually know what next step to take to get where you are trying to go, because you deserve momentum. You deserve to feel like you're moving forward with your money, which is the whole point of this workshop. So the first thing that I want to talk about is things that you need to keep in mind when you start thinking about taking action. Okay, there's a couple of very important points that you need to keep in mind. The first one is, are you guys ready? Some of you are not going to want to hear this. The first one is focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control. And for most of you, I am referring to other people. You cannot control other people. You cannot control what they do, how they react, what they want to do, right? You cannot control those things. Okay. And so what I want you to think about when you're thinking about your action steps is to focus on what you can control. And we'll talk about examples of this here in a minute. Okay. Because anybody who's on, I'm going to work through your action steps with you. So focus on what you can control. That's number one. Because really, this is about you taking your power back with your money, right? You. Okay. Number two. Focus on one goal at a time, okay? If you try to put a little bit of energy in multiple places, all of those things are going to get a little bit of your energy. And a little bit of progress is all you're ever going to make. And it's very frustrating and it's very discouraging to see these 5 different things you're working on all just go up. And you're like, ugh, right? But if you were to take that same amount of energy and put it on one of those things, and then you see it go boom, that's when you get to go, oh, I did something, right? Scattered efforts produce scattered results. Scattered efforts produce scattered results. So when you start thinking about taking action, focus on one thing at a time. The other thing that trying to focus on too many things at a time does is it creates overwhelm and it creates tension and frustration. Can you imagine? Many of you have children. If your child comes up to you and says, Mommy, I need to potty, and I also want a snack, and I also want this toy, and I need to go to this place, and can I go to sister's house, and can I go to, right? And they ask you 9 questions at once, and they want you to address all 9 things at the same time. What are you going to say? Slow down, one thing at a time, right? I can only do one thing. I have no idea what you just said. And the more they keep going, telling you about all the different things that they want you to focus on, the more frustrated you get, the more tense you get, the more you are tempted to tell them they get none of it, right? Right? You're like, oh my gosh, no, stop, nothing, go sit down. I have a 2-year-old and I do that already, right? Focus on one thing at a time. Now, that was a funny example with a toddler because really toddlers give examples for everything. But imagine if you went to your spouse or your partner or your husband or your wife and you said, all right, here's the deal. We need to get on a budget. You need to stop spending. We need to not buy things that we don't want to buy. We need to get out of debt and we need to save for a house. Go. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the feeling of like, whoa, where's this coming from? What the hell, right? It creates overwhelm and tension when you try to put your energy on too many things at once. Does that make sense? So the 2 major things you need to think about when we start taking action here is focus on what you can control and focus on one thing at a time. Okay? So when we start thinking about your specific story, basically what we're going to do is say, what was it that was keeping us stuck? I examined it. I figured out what it was really about and how I felt about that, right? So if you want to drop in the chat, what was it really about? And then what kind of momentum did it seem like you were missing? And those of you who are not on live, so if you're on live, drop that in the chat because we're going to work through it together. But those of you who are not on live, this is like putting together a puzzle piece, right? If you look at a puzzle and you go, okay, so I'm missing a corner piece, and you go, okay, and I think it must be red, then you very quickly and easily can come over here and go red pieces and a corner, done, got it, right? Because you know what's missing, right? Same thing here. We're going to take this piece where you go, okay, what's keeping us stuck is, and we really need to focus on it from the financial perspective. This is what's keeping us stuck, and we need to focus on it from the mental perspective. This is what's keeping us stuck. We need to focus on it from the emotional perspective. And once you know that, basically what piece is missing and what color is it, then you can start putting that together and saying, okay, what is it that we actually want to create? So while people are dropping theirs in the chat, so what was it really about? So what's the thing that's keeping you stuck? And what kind of momentum did you need? I'm going to give an example because I've had a couple people in my private messages, or I've been watching you with your homework, right? So I'm going to give an example. Example 1, we feel like there's just not enough money. We feel like there's not enough money and it scares us. We're afraid that there isn't enough money. That's what's keeping us stuck. The kind of momentum that we need, what we haven't done, we haven't really given ourselves the organization around being aware of what's really happening to our money. Because if you feel like there isn't enough, but you don't actually know whether there's enough, there's that mental component of that, right? Of like the clarity and the organization around your money. So if we take that and say, okay, what I need is some mental clarity and organization around how much money we have and whether it's enough for my bills. See that? So knowing that I need mental clarity around whether we have enough money for our bills. If that's what I need, what's my next step? What's my next step? Ask yourself. Here's the thing with me as a coach, like I'm not gonna like solve all your problems for you, right? Some of this you're gonna have to think of yourself, and there's only one of you on live right now. And so I can only answer what comes to me here, right? But think about this. Let's think of it from a different perspective. So for that, I need mental clarity around whether we have enough money for our bills. What's your next step? Well, we should probably look at our income and look at our bills and add up all the numbers and actually see, do we have enough for our bills? What do those numbers really add up to? Because then from there, so that's your next step. And from there, you can keep moving. Okay, now that we know for sure, now that that's that, and we know the answer to this, now what do we feel stuck for, right? And you can keep making steps moving forward after that, right? So let me give you another one. What about my husband and I don't trust each other with money? We don't trust each other with spending, and we're not on the same page about spending. what I've discovered that we need, the kind of momentum that we need, is we need financial momentum because we haven't really seen the needle move. Okay. So if we need to see the needle move and get some wins and are still struggling to trust each other, what should be the first step? Right? So if you want to trust each other, but also get some wins, the first thing that you should do is, I have a few things in my mind. And once you come up with that step, this is where you go, again, if I do that, if we create that, then how do I feel? So a good example for this would be, we don't really trust each other with spending and really haven't been seeing the financial needle move. Then the first step is come together and agree on what financial needle you want to see moved. One thing, right? One financial goal. Can we agree that this month we're each going to only spend $100 and we're going to set aside $100 for this, right? Pick a financial goal, numbers, because that's what the financial momentum is, right? Pick a financial goal, agree on it together, and then implement that goal. Now, if trust is a big issue, then you can have a conversation as well about what needs to happen. What happens if you want to spend more than the $100? What are we going to do about that? How do we have this conversation, right? Start having that conversation about what financial goals do we want to see accomplished, and also how do we build trust in doing that? Because part of the reason why trust is broken is because the financial needle is not moving, right? Because you're not actually seeing results. You're not actually getting where you want to go, right? If your husband went and spent $200 more than he said he was going to spend, but you also got a debt paid off this month, you're like, well, that's kind of annoying. At least we still got debt paid off, right? But if you're not seeing that financial momentum, then there's more work to be done on that side of what do we really want to see happen. And once we start seeing those wins, then we get to start moving forward. Does that make sense? So you're basically looking for, what puzzle piece do I need and what color is it, right? What puzzle piece do I need and what color is it? What is missing? What is keeping us stuck? And what kind of momentum do we want to frame it around? If you want to frame it around an emotional side of things, maybe there's emotional wins that you haven't been getting. Maybe there's things that you want to do with your money that you haven't been doing because you're so afraid of other things, right? So then you frame it, what would make us feel like we got a win here? And then start taking steps towards that. Now, this is going to look different for everybody. Why? Because money is really personal. Money is very personal. I also want you to know, I mentioned this yesterday, stop listening to the voices that are discouraging. Just stop. If there are voices telling you that you're a bad person if you use debt, or that if you don't have a college fund for your kid by the time they're age 6 months, then you're a horrible mom, right? Like, stop listening to the people that are discouraging you when it comes to your money, and start listening to the people who are encouraging you with your money, because you deserve to be encouraged. And I will say, I honestly, going through my journey, we paid off $85,000 in debt. We've built a 6-figure net worth. We figured out what not to do. Hey, Angela. We figured out what not to do, right? That like extreme restriction that just felt awful was not helpful for us. We figured out how to shift the momentum that we needed in the right direction. We needed some emotional wins, right? And so, we said, what would give us an emotional win? You know what? Being able to freaking enjoy our lives would be really nice. And that was our first step, was we reframed our cash flow plan around our new priorities. Okay. I'm telling you, 90% of you, your next step is probably develop a cash flow plan that factors in your new priorities, that factors in the things that are starting to frustrate you, the things that are keeping you stuck, right? A lot of you will massively benefit from the financial fire starter that I'm giving away if you do all 3 days of the workshop homework, right? Because that's that awareness piece that might be missing for you, right? That's what that is, that financial fire starter that gives you the awareness you need to, like, boom, create that fire, light it, and go, right? A lot of you need a cash flow plan. A lot of you, that financial fire starter will be amazing. And a lot of you need someone to guide you along the way because you've tried things before, you know? And I would tell you, like I said, you know, we went on our own personal journey. We figured out what works and what didn't work. And as I have been working one-on-one with clients for the last year, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary in business, you guys. How exciting is that? I'm so stoked. Such an honor to have worked with the women that I have worked with over the last year. And I have evolved and grown as a coach because I have recognized how personal money really is. And I, as a coach, cannot come into it and say, hey, here's a step-by-step, black and white, ABC, do it in this order. It should always be done this way. There's no exceptions. Like, that just doesn't freaking work. Like, it doesn't work that way. And so my passion now as a coach is to inspire women to fearlessly step into the power that financial freedom actually creates in their life, but that they get to define that financial freedom. What does that look like? What does it feel like? How do we create that for you? Because financial freedom for you looks different than financial freedom for me. It feels different for you than it does for me. And so we find out, what does that look like? What does that feel like? So that you get to create that in your world and step into the power that it brings in your life. And we do that with simple, intuitive strategies, because if we try to get too complicated, it just freaks out. Like I said, overcomplication leads to tension and overwhelm, and it just doesn't work. I'm not all about that. Guys, I'm not all about that. And I'm so excited because I have grown so much. I mean, let me tell you a story. This is going to illustrate this. So I was like super duper Dave Ramsey, super duper anti-debt, right? And as I've grown, as I've coached women, as I've really understood the value of money decisions being individual and personal. And that means that every one of your decisions is individual as well, right? That every single one of your decisions looks different than the last one because there are different circumstances and there are different emotions involved. And that means you get to make different decisions depending on what's going on. And that's okay. There is not a set of black and white rules. So let me tell you about a time when I was struggling with feeling stuck and discovered what kind of momentum I needed and what next step I took that impacted my money. So I, as you know, I'm a coach. And one of the things I was really feeling stuck on at the beginning of the year was how to really inspire people to understand how I could serve them. And how could I really show people how much I cared? And how could I really help people to understand how I could help them so that they would want to work with me, so that they could get incredible results, like Amanda, who's paid off almost $10,000 in debt in less than 90 days, right? Like Kayla, I haven't even shared Kayla's story yet because it's so mind-blowing to me, but Kayla will have paid off over $400,000 in debt in the last year. Like, I'm like crying. These are people who have created massive shifts and massive movement. And I was struggling because I felt like I was failing at helping people understand how I could help them do the same. And so I recognized that I needed help. And I reached out and I attended a business retreat that was about strategies to attract unicorn clients, right? To attract clients so that they understood who you were and how you could serve them and how you could help, right? And I went into it thinking that what I needed was just the right strategy, that like I hadn't been posting on social media right, or I hadn't been in the right groups, or I just like, there was something about my strategy that was off. And what I discovered in that time, it was a 3-day workshop, it was a 3-day retreat, it was super, super intense. Was that what was actually keeping me stuck wasn't strategy. It was my limiting beliefs. It was my beliefs that I wasn't good enough, or that people didn't want to hear from me, right? I posted that. You're going to hear from me whether you like it or not now. But I discovered that that's what was actually keeping me stuck. And I discovered that the kind of momentum I really needed was momentum that was going to make me feel confident and self-assured in myself, so that it was easy for other people to see. Easy for other people to see because I felt it, right? I needed to learn from somebody who was doing this the same way that I wanted to do it. I wanted it to be organic. I wanted people to just see and hear and feel how I felt about serving them. right? But I knew that it had to come from a place of mindset. I knew that it had to come from a place where I could get out of my own head, trust myself, and be more self-assured. Okay. So I figured out what puzzle piece was missing, and I figured out what color it was. Okay. And then I was presented with an offer that was my puzzle piece. It was a year-long business program that incorporated the mindset and the self-assurance and the confidence piece with business strategies that work to help people really understand who I am and really understand how I serve and why I serve and what I can do for them, right? Now, that business program is $5,000. And so that was a moment for me where I had to evaluate my values and my beliefs about money, my values and beliefs about debt, my values and beliefs about investing and returns on investment, right? But what I get out of it. And I had been, for the longest time, super hardcore about not using debt, right? Now, in that moment, I was presented with two offers. One was a payment plan of $650 a month for the year, and the other one was $5,000 up front. And if you know anything about math, 650 times 12 is $7,800. So I knew that within my business, the $650 a month would be no big deal. I am working with one-on-one clients consistently. Okay. I am making plenty to cover a $650 a month payment. I knew that. But when I did the math, $7,800, or I could put the $5,000 on a credit card and I could pay the $650 a month. And that would take me 8 months, not 12. And it would only cost about $100 in interest. So $7,800 or $5,100 for the return of being so confident and self-assured in my business that I get more clients, I get better clients, I get incredible people in my community, and I've made my investment back completely. I've made my investment back because I chose to allow myself to step into something that was better for me. And I chose to let go of the beliefs that I had about what was right and what was wrong about money. And that's really what I've leaned into with my coaching, is that your decisions about your money get to be personal. You don't have to do the same things that I do with my money. You don't have to believe the same things that I believe about my money. My job is to help you know what you believe about money. And if anybody's been paying attention to the way I talk about debt, I used to say we don't use debt. That was a value of ours. We don't use debt. And now I say we don't use debt as a crutch. Debt as a crutch is, I don't feel like doing the work to save up for this. I want it now. I'm going to buy it, right? We don't use debt as a crutch, but we will when there is a return on that investment, right? When there's something that we get in return, when there's something that goes up in value, that adds more value to our world, sometimes it's the smarter thing to do, and that's okay. And so that's my point, is the way that I coach allows you to find these puzzle pieces for you and put them together so that you know what your next best step is. And not only that you know what it is, but that you feel excited about it, that you feel good about the decision, that there's zero regrets, zero doubts, zero fears. This isn't called the fearless money journey for nothing, right? You want to know how I feel about putting that $5,000 in a credit card? Amazing. Amazing. Best decision I've ever made. I've only been in that program for 3 months, and I've already seen incredible returns because it has changed the way that I approach everything, right? And so your money decisions get to be personal. It's not black and white, right? And this is why I've taken the strategies that I've used with my one-on-one clients, the programs that I've developed for my one-on-one clients over the last year, and I've added in this personal component that I've already added in this personal component to, right? Where I help them find their own values and goals with their money. I've taken the strategies I use for my one-on-one clients and I've condensed them into a group program to make them more accessible, and also to add in that camaraderie and that accountability and that understanding that you are not alone, that you guys have seen in the group during this workshop. You are not the only person going through these things. You're not the only person who feels stuck with their money. You're not the only person looking to gain momentum, right? You're not. And so having that group program where not only are you getting all of these strategies that have gotten my one-on-one clients incredible results, Incredible, powerful results. Jessica, bless her heart, she's on here. She's told me that she had a backslide. So she's probably going to jump into this group program because it is an incredible offer. But she paid off like $20,000 in debt in less than 6 months because she got on a plan that felt good for her and her family, right? So this program is called Ignition. It is designed to be a financial jumpstart. We're going to get your finances ignited. You are going to learn how to be fully aware of what's going on in your money and how to develop a plan that gets you where you want to be in a way that feels good to you and isn't black and white and isn't someone else's strategy. In fact, this Ignition is for you even if you have tried plenty of other strategies before. Because I know what's happening in your mind. You're like, well, I've tried his program and I've tried that program and I've tried doing this and I've tried doing that. Nothing works. I'm a failure. I'm always going to be in debt, right? This program is for you even if you've tried a million other things, because what you haven't tried is a system that has been completely tailored to your values and your goals and the things that you want to accomplish in your money. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do inside of Ignition. Now I can hear you through the phone, through the camera, through the computer. I can hear you. But Nicole, if I'm struggling with my money, how do I spend money to make money, to save money? Okay. I hear you. And I want to say, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. I know what it's like to realize that there's a program out there that can help you get where you want to go, but it costs. And it may cost more than you have right now. I get it. I have been there. I just invested in a $5,000 program. I understand. I also have to ask, because it's my job, what's it worth to you? Imagine waking up 8 weeks from now, knowing exactly what to do with every dollar that comes in and out of your bank account, knowing exactly where it's going, being confident that it's working for you, being confident that it's doing what you want it to do, being fully aware, having goals within your household, whether that's with you and a partner, it's just you, having goals that feel amazing, where you're on the same page together. And yes, we will be talking about how to get on the same page with your spouse and what to do if you're not, okay? That is so huge for so many people, and we will be talking about it. We're going to be talking about how to optimize your cash flow plan, because cash in, cash out is how we make money, right? It's how we save money. It's like calories in, calories out, right? And so having a cash flow plan that is optimized for your values and your goals and your household and what you have going on is so powerful, but also really looking at what do you want it to look like? It gets to be yours. And the icing on the cake with this is that not only are you going to walk away feeling really, really good about what's happening to your money, but you're going to be confident in how to make money decisions moving forward. How would it feel 8 weeks from now to wake up trusting yourself with money and maybe even not even thinking about money that day? Don't even think about it. Doesn't even cross your mind. No money stress. How would that feel? And what's that worth to you? What would it be worth to you? Right now, to work with me and do this 6-week program one-on-one is a $3,000 investment. It's a $3,000 value to work with me one-on-one for this 6 weeks. Okay. This 6-week program that I have designed is designed to be a $1,500 program. And in this run of it, you actually have an opportunity to have a one-on-one call with me as well, which one-on-one calls are $500 right now. $500 to get a one-on-one call with me. In fact, I don't even sell single hours. I only sell 90 minutes, which is $777 to get on a call with me right now. Okay. So this program is designed to be $1,500 plus that $500 call is a $2,000 program. However, this is my beta run. This is the first time I have taken this system from my one-on-one clients and put it into this group container. And so I am offering an incredible offer for those of you who want to jump into the beta program, because not only is it going to really help me refine and create this program that makes massive impact for you and everyone who comes after you, I'm also going to let you have access to it extended well beyond the 6-week program, well beyond the 6-week program, because you deserve it, because you're my betas, right? Because it is going to be so powerful in your world to take the time to invest in yourself, to create more space in your finances, to create more direction in your finances, to create more clarity in your finances, so that 8 weeks from now you can wake up and go, I got this. I got this. Not only do I have this, but it feels good. And I'm excited about what's happening, right? I'm excited about what's to come. And you get access to me for a one-on-one call, which is huge in and of itself, because I'm cool and I'm easy to talk to, because I like to make money fun, right? So if that's you, if you're ready to take your power back with your money so that you can create the momentum and the financial freedom that you deserve. Oh, I came out of focus. Focus. There it is. Okay. Sorry, guys. So if that's you, Ignition starts the week of May 31st. It is a 6-week group program that also gets you access to me for a one-on-one call. Guys, this is a $2,000 value. The next time I run this, it will be at least $1,500. At least. This is the beta. And so, oh, Angela said, I'm pretty cool. Thanks, hon. So the beta run is discounted because of all of the value that you are going to add to me and the program as well. So if you went in on the beta, this program that will never be this low again, ever, it will be at least $1,500 the next time I launch it, which will probably be in July or August. If you want in, you can either message me, or you can go to bit.ly/ignition beta with capital I and a capital B. I'll go ahead and drop it in the comments so that you guys have it. And then I will also put it in the description of beta. I'll put it in the description of the video as well. If you're ready to get started, you can click that link, fill that out. You will receive an email with a video just welcoming you to the program. I recorded that video last week and I'm like, I still think it's so fun. And giving you all of the instructions on how to access our private Facebook group. Like I said, Ignition starts May 31st. So you have 10 days. You have 10 days to get in on this offer before the price goes up for the next launch. Okay. So if that's you, click the link in the comments. Go there, fill it out, and join the private Facebook group. Again, this is a $2,000 program. And for you guys, for the beta launch, it's only $497. All right. I love you guys. Share your momentum wins with me. Your homework for the week is, what action step did you uncover and how do you feel about it? Right? What action step did you uncover and how do you feel about it? I love you guys. I'll see you in the group. Let me know if you need anything. Bye.